What is enlightenment? It's a word we often hear in spiritual talks, in books, even in casual conversation. And at its heart is a simple image: light. When we say the light dawned, or she threw light on the matter, we're speaking in metaphors, but ones that point to something deeper. Light shows us the way. It brings clarity. Without it, we grope in the dark, confused, uncertain, lost. It's no coincidence that light also has real physical effects. Sunlight nourishes our body with vitamin D. It lifts the spirits of those living through the winter blues of seasonal affective disorder. Studies even suggest it nudges us towards generosity. People give bigger tips in well-lit cafes. Remarkable, really. The appearance of the being of light is a common finding in those having the near-death experience. And research has found that mystical experience commonly contains the experience of being bathed in light. And light, of course, runs deep in the world's religions. In Hindu texts, Krishna and Vishnu reveal themselves in flashes of dazzling light. The appearance of a succession of mystical coloured lights marks the stages of progression towards illumination in the yogic tradition. And light comes also in the Christian Gospels. In a vision, do you remember, Christ's followers said they saw his face shine like the sun, and his clothes became white as light. The divine itself apparently was flowing strongly into him on that occasion. In Buddhism, Amida, the Buddha of infinite light, is the radiant presence of ultimate reality. From Taoism to Judaism to Islamism, light is the great spiritual metaphor. So what then is enlightenment? It's not just learning, it's about seeing differently. One idea suggests that even our surface level beliefs can contain deeper truths within them, like seeds waiting for the light to shine on them. Now let's consider the notion of God as a stern judge, rewarding good and punishing bad. Now, to a childlike mind, this does feel appropriate. But enlightenment brings a deeper understanding that the consequences of our actions are built into their very nature. Also, that spiritual state is woven into what we choose and who we become. Now, the Swiss psychologist Carl Jung shared a story that speaks to this deeper perception. A patient of his had dreamt of a golden scarab, an artistic finger ring, and image rich in symbolism. Now, while recounting this to Jung, there was a faint tapping on the window. He turned and astonishingly found a scarabid beetle. This creature is the closest match to a golden scarab in nature. He caught it. He handed it to her and simply said, "Here is your scarab." The patient, until then closed off emotionally, was deeply moved, and something shifted. Jung calls this synchronicity, a meaningful coincidence that seems to defy ordinary explanation. He believed it was a moment when inner and outer worlds briefly aligned. Now, Emanuel Swedenborg, the 18th century spiritual philosopher, offers us the idea that divine providence gently arranges the strands of our lives, quietly and subtly, always tending to our deeper needs. Often we don't see the pattern until later, but when we do, it's as though a light has come on inside us. This is a philosophical idea, but we can see the idea light up if we realise how we've been personally guided in the past. Also inwardly nurtured, and how even our mistakes have led to our personal growth. We begin to trust, not in our own cleverness, but in something greater. A stream of providence, as Swedenborg called it. We're carried along, not aimlessly, but with purpose. How do we see this? Not with our physical eyes, but with the inner eye. Just as have we sight, so we also have insight. Now, materialist science has its limits here. It can analyse behaviour, brain states and biology, but it cannot weigh compassion or measure the origin of beauty or detect the source of kindness. These things aren't absent. They're just not visible under a microscope. We humans have a remarkable capacity for imagination, for pondering, for reflection. We read sacred texts and hear stories from our parents and teachers. And in doing these things, we can't help considering ethical issues and sense intuitively that something more is at play. Information alone is not enlightenment. It's only the beginning. True understanding, a real spiritual perception, requires something more, a light from within, not just hearing what others say, but recognizing truth inwardly. Not a lecture, but a moment of recognition. Spiritual teachers, philosophers, mystics, yes, they can point the way, but personal enlightenment is felt and not just known about, not just thought. It is the shift from listening to knowing deep down, from seeing to understanding. Spiritual knowledge and awareness are merely the beginning of wisdom. Thanks for listening to me. If you're interested in how enlightenment can be acquired, just click the link at the top of the screen.